We can't live without gas today. With its help, we make food, heat our homes, generate electricity. Of course, this is good. But on a regular basis, we hear in the news that here and there, an explosion of gas took away human lives. How safe is it to use gas today? Who checks gas equipment and how? And most importantly, where is the guarantee that your house, garage, or car won't blow up? We came to the certification center, which checks any goods and products for compliance with government quality standards to find out what tests the household gas equipment is undergoing. Vladimir, all those laboratories that we now walked past in the corridor, this particular one, and everything in this building, what do? They research everything we can get in a store. Well, that is certification, from felt-tip pens to cars. Well, yes, like just anything. Yes, and also gas equipment. Let's go, I'll show. This is our gas lab. Okay, I see an ordinary gas cooker. This is one of the details of this stand for determining if there is some movement in the cooker body. In other words, it's shear load diagonal. Yes, diagonal shear load. And what is it for? Gas equipment is attached here, and a shift may occur, and a gas leak will occur. Ah, this is to prevent the lid from moving those nozzles, right? Exactly. We can do it. Let's begin. Let's carry out a certification test, the way you conduct them from start to finish. The shear load of a standard gas cooker is estimated to be 50 kilograms. This means that after such an impact, it must retain its working properties. Vladimir, why is it important to simulate this shift? What can it be in real life? This can happen during transportation. Suddenly a person, for example, needs to climb the cooker. Well, you never know what happens. Like you could move it while using. Yes, that's why. After the cooker was checked on this mechanical stand, the main tests begin. Leak tests. They will show how reliable it really is. Well, this installation works very simply. It uses a stream of water. Okay. We open the tap. Water is flowing through the vessel, obviously, and it passes through, creates pressure on the test sample. Ah, is there air inside? Yes. And here we are looking at the water if there are leaks or not. So there is a certain period of time. For this device, it's 1 hour. In other words, if the stream of water starts rising up in the vessel, it is leaky. Yes, so there is a leak. Experts emphasize, most often the cause of tragedy is our own inattention and carelessness in handling gas appliances. People sometimes turn on but don't light. They get distracted. They go away, talk to somebody. In the meantime, gas is filling the room. And when the concentration is big enough, there is a kind of local explosion. Well, there have been cases like this. Combustible natural gases are used, which have methane, mainly, and it is explosive. Unfortunately, and the lower limits of its explosion is 5%. The upper limit is 15. What does it mean? So if there is 5% of this gas in this volume, only 5%, only 5%, yes. And if someone, say, turns on the light, there's an explosion. The metal body of the gas cooker withstands mechanical external impact up to 50 kilograms. And what will happen to it in case of an explosion of gas, if a leak, for example, occurred in the oven? And now we will conduct a test, which is not done in the certification centers, because they try not to bring it to this. Namely, we will use this gas stove with the help of our special effects director, and we will blow it up. Actually, I understood we just want to change the cooker in your house, right? Yes, as always. But mine is cleaner, to be honest. I don't bring it to such a state. What are the expectations? I think it will be spectacular. Do you think there'll be a strong explosion? Well, let's see. Well, the idea is gas. It's certainly dangerous, but there's not such a big concentration. There's a small volume, in fact. Get ready. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Is this gas that explodes so? Yes. What if this was in an apartment? Well, you see, it starts burning then. That's a fire with destruction. Yeah, let's go and see how much destruction there is. The glass flew out. I see, right? Listen, I think it's quite working. You know, as an indicator, if the door opens... Well, still, look. How it is bent in some places. Well, yes, and you see, it swelled up like a ball inside. The experiment turned out to be more than spectacular, and I hope now you understand why, before lighting an oven, it is necessary to make sure there is no gas in it. Methane has neither color nor smell. To notice its leak would be impossible, but many of us know exactly how gas smells. This is the smell of the odorants, which are added so that gas can be sensed. Well, the fact is that a substance is added to gas so that it has a distinctive smell. And that's why it's a signal that you need to look carefully, or turn off the gas appliances, or take some measures to ventilate the room. So this strong smell is not how gas smells. It is the smell of an aromatic substance that is contained in this natural gas. Just aromatics. And how quickly? Well, is a standard kitchen filled with gas when the cooker is on, without fire? Well, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes. The concentration will be big enough. Gas is not only explosive, it is also poisonous, and the products of its burning are also capable of killing. Surely you have heard about the tragic cases of poisoning with carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, it is released when there is incomplete combustion of gas. That is, the ratio of air or oxygen in the air, to be more precise, can be determined by the flame. It is not blue, but reddish. Therefore, carbon monoxide is released. What is the danger of carbon monoxide? When it fills the room, it is very poisonous. Its permissible limit concentration is 0.03 milligrams a liter. So, if chimneys in, say, a furnace room are broken, then naturally, the products of combustion partly or fully stay in the room. It turns out that air, or rather oxygen, mixing in a certain proportion with gas can become an explosive mixture. But in a closed, unventilated room, where the stove or boiler is burning, it isn't less dangerous because of the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. How can you protect yourself? Special security measures are developed for this purpose. They include clean and free ventilation, plus checking that all gas connections are hermetically sealed. All this ensures the reliability of gas appliances. In addition to household cookers, gas hoses are also tested in the certification center. The algorithm is the same. First, a mechanical load. Vladimir, are we in the test room for engineering products? Yes. We need to test those hoses. Yes, we have here special stands for this. And what will we check them for? First, we'll check how they stretch. There is a special stand for this. Good afternoon, which we'll use to check it. What is the load for this exact hose? For this hose, we must have a load of 20 kilograms. Well, it's not much. Why is it so? Well, according to Ghost, that is not to say that this hose will be used like a tow rope. No, no. It has some maximum load. What is the maximum load this machine can create? This machine can create a load of 30 tons. 30 tons? Yes. Wow. It's kind of small. Well, small, but strong. Yes. The hose withstood a load of 20 kilograms perfectly. It only stretched like a string, but didn't get any visible damage. However, it is interesting how much are the requirements of Ghost overestimated. Simply put, what load will break it? We couldn't resist this temptation to check it with such a machine. It seems to be doing fine. I think we'd better step aside. Yes, of course. This hose tore at a load of 368 kilograms. And in the state standard, it is declared to be only 20. It turns out that it's 18 times stronger. The task of all certification laboratories is to carry out tests within the limits of performance characteristics. And now we will try to conduct our tests beyond these limits. Now, Ilya, our director of special effects, and I will test this gas hose for the maximum load that it can withstand. What are the stakes? Well, I think it withstood a lot more in stretching, almost 10 times than it had to. Okay. So I'll say 60. 60? Okay. What do you think? Well, I don't know. Well, let's say it's 100. Actually, it's designed for 16 atmospheres, and we have 200 here in the tank. Let's start. The camera is installed and is looking directly at the manometer. There's an image on my phone, and I can see under what pressure the hose will burst. Let's move aside. And 100. 120. 125. 130. 140. 150. Deflating. 140. Okay, where is it? Look, it's falling. Now it's 170. Here it is. So 150 or thereabouts is the maximum pressure. And then it broke here, where it's connected. Oh, here. Here it broke and it started to deflate. But it didn't explode. But nonetheless, 150. 150 is a lot. And how much longer did it become? 1.5 times. How tall are you? I'm 2 meters tall. Well, somewhere around 2.5. It was 1.5, now it's 2.5. Now we will check this flexible hose. It is also designed for 6 atmospheres. Ilya, let's see what maximum pressure it can withstand. Yes, we'll check the Italian quality. Yes, do you think it will be stronger than the steel ones? I don't know. We'll see. Logically, it has a steel cover. Steel reinforcing. Wait, this is steel reinforcing, or not? Yes, this is steel reinforcing. Well, let's see. We open and leave. 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 45 atmospheres. Wow, around 50. Slowly. Did you expect this from it? No, me neither, to be honest. Let's add pressure. Adding. 50, 55, 60, 75, that's it. It didn't break yet. More? 90, 100. Oh! Well, it was around 180. Amazing. It exploded at a pressure of more than 150 atmospheres. So, we found that the most ordinary hoses, which are designed for 16 atmospheres, in practice, hold almost 10 times more. If household hoses are capable of this, then the main gas pipes probably have an even greater strength, although probably they have a weak point: welded seams. Dmitry, these pipes are used for transporting gas to this village. How are they checked? Pipes come from the factory with factory isolation, that's it. And those seams that are welded when being installed, and open areas, so to speak, they are isolated to ensure the safety of the gas pipeline and protect it from corrosion. There are hundreds of welded seams here. How can you check each of them? As you said, all seams are completely welded, and then the pressure is pumped. That is, the pressure is already pumped in when the entire network is fully assembled. There are no outlets from it anymore. Everything is muffled. And what happens next? Exactly. When everything is completely welded, then it is pumped. Overpressure is pumped in for verification for a day. And how higher is that pressure than the usual one? It is many times higher than the consumer pressure. A similar algorithm is used to test the internal gas pipeline, which already passes through sections of residential buildings. As a rule, these are polyethylene pipes, and the pressure in them is lower than in the main ones. But when tested, they are also subjected to excessive load. In addition, the underground gas pipeline is regularly tested for leaks. So in any case, even if the gas pipeline is underground, the gas pipeline is bypassed. And what do you do when checking? I understand that it's too early to talk about it in this village, but anyway, it is a visual inspection, a check for gas contamination of the area, using gas appliances, using instruments. With the help of gas analyzers, specialists regularly check not only gas pipelines, but also internal gas equipment, boilers, cookers, all connections. Usually, people buy household gas cylinders on their own, which most often causes a tragedy. The responsibility for their storage, operation, and even maintenance lies entirely on the consumers. But many just forget about it. Often, they are used by builders for construction works. Very often, when this cylinder is brought in from the cold, it starts to be heated, up to the point when they use an open fire. A soldering lamp for this. Yeah. Similarly, violations of operational standards for the use of domestic gas, when the cylinders are in living quarters, are unacceptable. Well, if I have my own cylinder, I bought it myself. I have been using it carefully for many years. I take it to the gas station. Here it is with me. Well, what can happen to it? Well, even the quality of the gas, which might have a high humidity, it happens, and temperature changes, and we have such a climate. In summer, it's up to plus 30 and more. In winter, it's down to minus 30. They can cause corrosion that we won't notice, but it'll affect our safety. We've already tried to blow up a gas cylinder somehow, put it in a fire, but the maximum that we managed to achieve is escaping flaming gas stream. The cylinder was designed for this. The isolation valve of the cylinder was knocked down. All this is because we did it without our director of special effects, Ilya. And now we will do everything to blow up the cylinder. How dangerous is this experiment? Well, since it's metal, it'll be very dangerous, of course. So we'll have to get very far away. Well, as far away as possible. It can fly a large distance. The volume of the cylinder is 27 liters. It's filled with gas, and it even looks like something big. Yes, it even looks slightly powdered. Now we'll find out what comes of it. Let's start. So, Are you all ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's the cylinder, yeah? Yeah, that's it. Wow, yeah, that's how they fly. Despite all our efforts, we couldn't find the cylinder. It was, well, vividly, it seems to me. So, in case of an explosion, this can cause serious destruction. Well, the consequences are dangerous, of course. Huge energy is released. Moreover, when the gas is burned, it's really a bomb. Special organizations are engaged in maintaining of household gas cylinders. Here, the state of each cylinder and the degree of corrosion inside and outside are assessed. The operation of the shutoff valves is checked. And, of course, a pressure test is carried out. In other words, it's a test with excess pressure. Only after such an inspection, the cylinder is again recognized as suitable for use. Vladimir Viktorovich, how often should gas cylinders be serviced? Technical inspection of the pressure vessel must be carried out in accordance with the regulations established by the manufacturer. Therefore, there is no definite period of time to indicate here. As a rule, it's from 2 or 3 to 5 years. The same applies to gas cylinder equipment installed on vehicles. The condition of this equipment is the car owner's business. Many people use gas today, but not all comply with the service regulations. But any minor malfunction can lead to trouble. In one day at this station, more than 5,000 cubic meters of natural gas, methane, and 3,000 liquefied hydrocarbons are filled into cars. Liquefied hydrocarbons are propane. The numbers are big, but one thing is good. Fuel is environmentally friendly, and with proper installation and operation of equipment, it's safe. The main thing is that the installation and maintenance of this equipment are performed by specialists in certified centers. First of all, our service checks if the system is hermetically sealed, if there are leaks, a gas smell, and so on. Other than looking for leaks, what else is also tested? We check the nodes for serviceability, that is, that they don't flow there in some other direction, so that everything works correctly. Again, we check the system settings. However, the experience shows not all car owners give their gas equipment such attention. But this is their own safety. But transport companies, especially passenger companies, pay more attention to it. That's how many gas cylinders a regular bus has. There are 9 of them, and in total they contain about 200 cubic meters of natural gas. In terms of power, this is equivalent to a small aerial bomb. And to make sure that passengers of the bus are safe, each of them passes a regular test. We are on the site where metal composite cylinders are inspected. They have a period of examination every 3 years. Examination, in other words, it is, as I understand it, when there is an overpressure. Exactly. It is checked if the cylinder can withstand it or not. And as for a metal composite cylinder, it is also checked how much it changes in volume, which is shown by the devices. How different is the test pressure from the pressure in real conditions? The test pressure is 1.5 times higher than the operating pressure. However, such cylinders can withstand a load of 3 to 4 times greater than that prescribed in their passport. There was a case when gas cylinders with methane remained intact after a fire on a bus. However, any rule has exceptions, and thinking that nothing can happen is probably not the best idea. Gas is dangerous. just like everything that surrounds us: electricity, transport, and even water. The main thing is to use all these benefits wisely, and never forget that everything has its limits, and it's best not to bring gas to its limits.